Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session on body sculpting. So today's session is going to be our third in understanding our body and in understanding body sculpting. So just to introduce, I'm Sheetal Junjunwala. I'm with the Pranic Healing School of Master Chokok Sui. And our headquarters are the World Pranic Healing Foundation, headquartered in Bangalore for India and in Manila for other parts of the world. So welcome, and what we are basically following the thought process that we have read in some books of Master Chokok Sui, that a positive affirmations and visualizations help in dealing with getting us rid of certain physical ailments. So what does that mean? That means that some physical ailments are possibly caused by our mental patterns. And when we work in pranic healing, what we are doing is we are working on the energy body. Now, the thing is that if we also internally change our mental patterns, it just makes the healing much, much faster. Okay, so we are going to be taking some help from this book. It is called, actually this one, it's called Heal Your Body by Louise Hayes. There is also a book available called Heal Your Life by the same author, Louise Hayes. And it basically talks about the psychosomatic reasons for certain ailments. And I find it very useful, especially for those of us who are healers and are also doing psychotherapy for people. It helps to understand whether possibly an ailment that we are working on for a patient, let's say if it's chronic, like, arthritis or diabetes, does it have a mental pattern? And can we help our clients to understand what the possible pattern may be so that they can themselves also actively work on getting rid of it? Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. And okay, so today's session, we are going to focus on a couple of other topics that we haven't focused on before. So one of them is about using our senses. Okay, so when we eat, we are aware of, are we aware of what we ate? So I'd like you to just take a second and think of, what did you eat for breakfast? What did you eat yesterday for dinner? What did you eat the day before for dinner? What did you eat the day before for dinner? Okay, so the idea of doing this exercise is to make us aware of, are we even aware of what we are eating? And if we're not aware of what we are eating, is it possible that we are enjoying it? No, right? So what will happen is that if we just eat without being aware of our senses, of what that food is doing to us, then what will happen is that we will have the desire to continue eating. But one of the things that I feel that really works is to use all the five senses when we are eating. Okay, what that does is that it satisfies all our senses. And one of the understandings that I have from the Bhagavad Gita, written by Paramhans Yogananda ji, where he talks about the use of the five senses. Now, one thing with food is that, when we see food, look at your food for some time. Like when it comes on the table, just look at it, look at the texture, look at the color, just take it in, just take in the experience. Okay, and if possible, also let's be grateful for, even for a few seconds, or even just if the thought comes to our mind, thank you God that I can see my food. Okay, I know we are focusing a lot on food, but I think that is the common issue often in body weight, in body sculpting. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about a few more things. The next is, I would like you to feel the smell, or not feel the smell, but smell the smell. Use your nose. Like when the food begins to be cooked in the kitchen, you can smell it, right? So at that point, let us be grateful that we can smell our food. Okay, the sound, every food does make a certain sound. Like when you crunch, like when you bite into an apple, there's that beautiful crunchy crispy sound. Are you aware of that sound? So let's just be grateful that we can hear our food, right? When you hear when we stir fry things, and we can just hear the spluttering of the oil in the wok. Are we aware of that sound and what it does to us? Yeah. Okay, then it comes into our mouth, right? And of course the smell, the smell is also there, the hearing, the texture. So then we pick up the food and we put it in our hands, or if you're using a spoon, then obviously there's no texture to touch, but at least you are aware. Even if you put your fork into it or your spoon into it, you're aware of the texture, right? Is it soft? Is it hard? Do you have to break it? what is happening? See, the idea is to build our level of awareness and to continue to build this level of awareness so that the satisfaction that we get from that one morsel of food is much, 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 much higher. So what that does is that it reduces automatically the quantity that is required. Okay, at least in terms of our senses. And of course, the last one when it comes to food is taste, right? When we put it into our mouth, are we aware of all the multiple flavors that they do like a Diwali in the mouth, but are we even aware of it? So we have all these taste buds that are working in our mouth. Are we ever grateful that we can taste? Yes. So if you've ever tried eating your food with like a blindfold, just try that once. Try and eat your food with a blindfold. Just see if it changes the experience. So what I'm basically trying to say is that let's use our five senses when we eat. It'll do a couple of things. It'll slow down the speed at which we eat. And when it slows down the speed at which we eat, it will also increase the level of satisfaction. Because there is some kind, this is what I understand, is there is some delay between the time the food goes into the mouth and that it goes down to the stomach. And the stomach sends a signal to the brain saying, okay, I'm done. Okay. Or, I'm full. But if we continue eating quickly, then by the time that signal goes up, we've already overeaten. So one of the things of slowing down eating is to be aware of all the senses, to allow our body to be satiated and then say, I want to stop. Because sometimes if we're just dieting and we are not eating, then the mind is still thinking, oh, I didn't get enough to eat, or I didn't get enough to eat. Oh my God, this diet. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yada, yada, yada. The mind is continuously thinking. That level of satisfaction hasn't really come in. So what will happen is that the diet will tend to fail. Tend to, okay? I'm not saying it will. I'm hoping it succeeds, okay? So one of the things is use your feel your food from all senses. And this idea came to me today when we were discussing with our team, and Kunal happened to mention that when he was a child, and I hope, Kunal, I can share this story because I already am. Is that when he was a child, he was encouraged to eat fast. Like, kaun pehle khatam karta hai? Like, who finishes their food fast? Or, ooh, here's an airplane. And as soon as the airplane comes into the mouth, you like, and then it's like, the airplane is out. So a lot of us as children have been encouraged to eat fast, probably because our parents were in a rush, or we had helpers who were in a rush to just, feed the child and get done with it. So we have to understand, again, no blaming our parents, no blaming anybody, just be aware that it may be coming from there, that stress related to eating. And also the fact that we need to eat fast is like, okay, it's a habit. If I eat fast, my mommy will be happy, or my daddy will be happy, or there'll be less chaos in the house, for example. And if I eat slowly, then I'm holding up everyone else's life. Okay, so one of the things that I've also noticed with people who are overweight is that they also are in this big rush. So perhaps this comes from there, and this thought was triggered today, like I said, when we were having a discussion with our team, and Kunal mentioned this. Next thing I want to talk about in the context, this was using our five senses. The next thing I want to talk about again refers to Heal Your Body by Louise Hayes, where she talks about the need for protection. So in one of the sentences related to fat, she says, it often represents a need for protection. Now, why would there be a need for protection? Now, we understand that when, let's say, for example, a woman is about to give birth, perhaps in the olden times, she needed to, store up in her body a certain amount of food for the upcoming child, and for the fact that she would probably not be able to, move around for a bit. So that was understandable in a certain time period. But in today's day and age, is it really something that we as women, need to hold on to? That's a thought for women in particular. The other thing that I've read, and I don't remember exactly where, so I'm sorry to the author for not acknowledging properly, but it's not my original thought, is that sometimes certain body parts are trying to protect us. So I have, again, I'm not sure where I read this, but I read this that sometimes children who have been through, I'm sorry, this is a difficult topic, but children who have been through sexual abuse, or some form of negative thoughts towards sex, what tends to happen is that their body parts around the sex chakra or around the sexual organs, which tends to be the hips, the belly, and the thighs, they kind of expand to create a barrier for the sex chakra, to protect the sex chakra and to protect the sexual organs. So then what happens is you have these big thighs and you have this big hip and you have this big belly, literally forming a barrier around the sexual organs for the purpose of protecting them. So I think this is a combination of some things that I read with Louis Hayes and some things that I think I read with Doreen Virtue's books, where basically we have to then address this particular you know, growth in our body, this particular fat, and we have to acknowledge that it has been there for a reason. It has tried to do its best to protect us, like perhaps when we were children or when we were younger, when we were not as strong. And now we will be grateful to this stuff, and we will basically say thank you very much for your protection, but now I can take care of myself and you can go. Okay, so we'll be nice to it. We will not be angry with it, because being angry is not going to help us solve this particular problem. Okay, so I hope you find that useful. Be aware of what, you know, whether if you have like large hips, large belly, and large thighs, then perhaps you are, you know, your body is trying to protect you from something. So again, this comes from the book Heal Your Body. She's also got a couple of other things here. Like she's mentioned that hips and thighs are often related to anger towards the father. And belly being big is often related to anger at being denied nourishment as a child. So it may be directed to the mother or to both parents. We're not really sure. So again, these are just probable thoughts. Okay, none of this is, please don't get fanatical, and just be aware that these are all additional inputs for us to help us think. Okay. One more thing that I want to talk about here again from this book is that it says about weight on the arms. So, you know, sometimes we've noticed that people are relatively slim, but their arms are quite thick and they're heavy. So, what Louis Hay he says here is that when we have big arms or fat arms, it's basically anger at being denied love. Okay, because generally when we hold something or when we hug something, it's with our arms, and if we have been denied that, then sometimes the arms decide to, you know, store the fat. So there are a bunch of affirmations here. I'm just going to read the main one, which is, I am protected by divine love. I am always safe and secure. I am willing to grow up and take responsibility for my life. I forgive others, and I now create my own life the way I want it. I am safe. Okay, so this was the affirmation directly from the book. Now, when we talk about divine love, you know, you may have noticed when we do the I am affirmation, when we do the soul affirmation, we affirm that we are a being of divine love. Okay, again, you know, the purpose is to tie all of this back into pranic healing. I am always safe and secure. So, this is a feeling of security. For those of us who have done pranic psychic self-defense, we know we can create different kinds of shields for ourselves, both mental, emotional, and physical shields. Next is, I am willing to grow up and take responsibility for my life. So this basically means that we're not blaming our parents or anybody else for stuff that happened to us as a child. We are now going to grow up and take responsibility for our own health. We're not going to say, oh, you know, my father has this or my mother has this, or it's hereditary. Maybe it is, but it's time for us to take charge as the soul and to handle our body better. Okay. The next part of the affirmation is, I forgive others and I now create my own life the way I want it. So forgiving others basically has to do with any kind of, you know, lack of love, lack of food, whatever is it that you felt as a child, that is something that we are going to give up. And forgiveness, as you are aware, is a very beautiful technique. In Master Choksuy's book, The Existence of God is Self-Evident, he mentions that the law of forgiveness actually supersedes the law of karma, which basically means that if we forgive those people, our parents or whoever it is, who we hold responsible for this body not being perfect, then what will happen is that the law of forgiveness supersedes the law of karma, which means we don't have to suffer as much because we have forgiven. Okay, so we'll do forgiveness with our body part also. And the last one is, I am safe. Okay, so the main thing, if you don't remember anything else, is I am safe. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to just think of something that we ate some time ago, and quickly let's just go through the sight of it, the colors. Just note a few colors quickly in your mind, the smell, the sound, the texture, and the taste. Okay. And now let us release any anger that we have towards that body part and towards anything in childhood that may have affected it. Let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Let us invoke to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings. Let's be aware of the role of our parents in our DNA. We have all kinds of DNA in our body, all kinds of chromosomes. All of these are basically representations of lessons that we have to learn. If there is a defect, it is also a lesson. If there is a whole gene, a good gene, that is also a reward. Let's be aware of the Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Let's be aware of the abundance and prosperity. Let us be aware that we don't need to store, we don't need to hoard. We are protected, we are loved, we are always guided. I am safe. Let's do the soul affirmation. I am that I am. I am not the body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thought. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. I am one with my higher soul. I am that I am. I am one with the divine spark within me. I am a child of God. I am connected with God. I am one with God, and I am one with all. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Let's take a few seconds and let's be aware of what we want to let go today, so that while we are doing the healing, the mass healing, we can try and remove whatever you're willing to release. So let's be aware of one particular part of our body where we are storing some stuff that we don't want to store anymore. Let's be aware of what part it is. If it's in our thighs, perhaps it is anger related to the father. Perhaps, okay. If it's in the hips, perhaps it's stubborn anger at the parents. If it's in the belly area, perhaps it's anger at being denied nourishment. And if it's in the arms, it may be anger at being denied love. If it's not in any particular part of the body, then it's perhaps just a need for protection and a resistance to forgive. Let's be aware of our crown, our heart, and our hands. Let us raise our hands in blessing position. Let's practice some forgiveness with our parents or with the part of the body which we may not be happy with. Okay, it's our body. So let's be aware. In case it is in the thighs, perhaps it's related to both parents. Perhaps, okay, if it's in the belly and arms, perhaps it's related to your mother. And if it's in the hips, then it's perhaps it's affected with your father. But either way, we can just forgive both our parents for whatever mistakes they have made. And in the process, heal ourselves of any lumps of stuff that we don't want. Okay, so let's visualize our parents in front of us. Let us mentally say, let's address our parents however you address them. So dear Papa, Mummy, Bauji, Maji, Dad, Mom, I, the soul, forgive you. I forgive you for the lack of protection, the lack of nourishment, the lack of love that I think happened. I forgive you for not being sensitive to my needs. I forgive you. Let's also seek forgiveness. So let's ask them for forgiveness. I, the soul, seek forgiveness for not being exactly the way you wanted me to be. Please forgive me for not listening when I was supposed to listen. Please forgive me for my mistakes. I forgive you. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Feel the energy flowing from our crown, our hands, and our heart, flowing towards our parents. Let's also express some gratitude because this physical body is the result of our parents' effort to give birth to us, to keep us alive in the best way that was possible for them. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Let's thank our parents for this physical body. Let's be grateful for most things that are working properly in this body. For those things in our body that are not working as properly, now that we're adults, let's take responsibility and create our life the way we want to. Take a few seconds and think, what do we want our life to be like? Are we hiding behind our layers of fat? What are we hiding? Who are we protecting? Let's tell everything that we don't want. Let's say thank you. Thank you for being there to protect me. Thank you for being there to protect me when I wasn't capable of protecting myself. But now I'm all grown up. I can take care of myself. Address the excess fat in the body and request it to go. Thank you for your offer to protect me. I am now an adult. I can take care of myself. I thank you. You may now peacefully and in a very healthy manner leave my body. Thank you so much. Inhale and exhale. In case we're good with visualization, we can also visualize that part of the body melting the excess fat, putting it into the bloodstream, moving all the lipids and fats out through the rest of the body's filtration systems, and eventually leaving the body. Let us be grateful for all that material. Let us instruct our body to retain whatever is required and to let go of what is no longer required. Inhale and exhale. Say thank you. Thank you for protecting me. You may go now. Thank you. Inhale and exhale. Now, once again, let's put all of this in context with our goals. For our financial goals, let's be aware of the role of food, of health. Let's be aware that when we are healthy, we can save some of the budget that is allocated to medical care, for donations, for helping others. whatever you want to use it for. So we have financial targets, and let us bless our financial targets. May they materialize rapidly and properly with our control, with our efforts. Let's be aware of our relationships. Are there some relationships which are draining us emotionally? Let us bless those relationships. If it's estranged relationships with our parents, bless the parents. Remember, it's not necessarily the parents. It could be any male figure or any authority figure, any female authority figure in our life. It doesn't have to be our parents. Let's bless. Let's bless our health. Again, if our health improves, we can enjoy life. Let's bless our spiritual target. Our body is the temple of the soul. Let us make every effort to keep this body so clean, so strong, that the soul can comfortably and safely reside in it. It is up to us to make it strong. Inhale and exhale. Let's also take this time to bless everybody affected by the COVID-19 virus, those directly affected, families, friends, people we know, people we don't know, doctors, nurses, and the whole planet. May the pandemic go away as soon as humanity has learned its lesson. Inhale and exhale. Anchor the energy in the body. And also let's resolve to look at our food in a different way, to feel all the food with all the 5 senses. And to let it go. Let the excess stuff go. Let's bless our projects, our homes, our workplace, people who have asked for blessings. Remember, we are instruments of light, love, and power. Once you're done, let's massage our face. Let's massage our scalp. Let's massage our arms, our legs. The chest, the back. Over to Priya for the exercises.
Eye rotation clockwise, 1, 2.
So these exercises are what we would recommend to everyone who is dealing with, who wants to lose weight. You're happy to, we'd be happy to share these exercises with you. You can do them a couple of times a day. It'll help to loosen the joints and make it easier for you to exercise in future. Over to you, Priya.
Eye rotation clockwise, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, side to side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Upper body twist, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hip rotation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Semi squats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Spine bending forward, backward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Arm rotations 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Click your elbows. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wrist rotation 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stretch your fingers. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Knee flex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Left leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Ankle rotation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stretch your toes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. And clap. Thank you.
Thanks, Priya. So thank you everyone for joining us for our series on body sculpting. We will be talking about a few more things, and I hope you enjoyed it. Also remember that a lot of it has to do with practice. Some people are asking about what happens with the other body parts, let's say the neck or the head or any other part of the body that is also storing fat. So unfortunately, I haven't read anything specific about that, but I think it would really help if you were to buy the book, Heal Your Body by Louise Hayes, and try to understand the connection between that particular body part and whatever we are storing in there. Also, let's not get fanatical. Let's not attribute everything to the mental pattern. Let's also be aware that we have a physical body, an emotional body, a mental body, and we also have what we call the causal body. Now, the causal body is what we believe is, where the karma is kind of stored and managed from. So you can read the books by Arthur Powell to get a better understanding of that. And so the reason I mention this is because Master Cho's books often mention, let's not get fanatical and get, entangled with only one idea. There can be many layers of truth. And it could also be that some of us are just working out some karma from some past life. Maybe it was like we were discussing last time, maybe some of us had the desire to be big and fat. Maybe perhaps in a lifetime we were so poor that we were like, thin and skinny, and we just wanted to be big and fat in some lifetime. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Okay, so let's just be aware of some of those things to understand what one's life's journey is, and how to understand it. We have a workshop called Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul, again by Master Choa Sui, of course, and that has really helped me personally in understanding slowly the purpose of life, why things are the way they are, why this body is the way it is, why the relationships are the way they are. So it really helps. So that's called Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul. It's going to be available in online format soon. So I hope you'll be able to join that. And the name of the book and the author is Louise L. Hay, and the book is called Heal Your Body. And of course, we have pranic psychotherapy to help. We also have pranic facial and body sculpting, which is taught by the Pranic Healing School to help us deal with some of these issues. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. And Let us know how we're doing so we know what we can do more. Thank you.